Narendra Modi in Epstein files. Before reacting to any headline or viral claim, it is important to understand the full story of Jeffrey Epstein, because this case is not just about one criminal but about how power protected abuse for decades. Jeffrey Epstein did not begin as a famous criminal or even a famous businessman. In the late 1970s, he worked as a school teacher, then suddenly he appeared inside elite financial and political circle. Despite never clearly explaining how he earned his fortune, yet he owned a massive Manhattan mansion, a luxury villa in Palm Beach, a ranch in New Mexico, and later a private island. To the outside world, he appeared confident, well-connected, and strangely untouchable. Behind this image, a systematic pattern of abuse was quietly growing. In the early 2000s, teenage girls in Palm Beach, Florida began going to police with disturbing but similar stories. They said Epstein hired them for massage, paid them cash, sexually abused them, and then encouraged them to recruit other girls. Some victims were as young as 14-year-old. These were not isolated allegations. Law enforcement later determined that dozens of girls were abused in the Palm Beach mansion alone. And over time, more than 100 victims came forward across different properties and states. Despite this, Epstein was not stopped. Complaints were delayed, minimized, or quietly dismissed. Epstein continued living openly, hosting guests, and expanding his lifestyle. In 2008, Epstein was arrested for the first time. This should have ended everything. Instead, it became the moment justice collapsed. Epstein received an extraordinarily lenient plea deal. He pleaded guilty to soliciting a minor, avoided federal sexual trafficking charges, and served about 13 months, mostly on work release and spending much of his time outside jail. After his release, Epstein did not disappear. He returned to his old life, continued flying on his private jet, and remained connected to influential people. For nearly a decade, nothing changed until journalism stepped in where institution had failed. In 2018, investigative reporters exposed how Epstein's victim had been silenced and how the 2008 case was quietly buried. Public outrage followed. Under pressure, federal authorities reopened the case. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested again, this time on federal charges of sex trafficking, minor, and conspiracy, facing the possibility of life in prison. In August 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. His death was officially ruled a suicide. However, the circumstances raised global suspicion. Epstein was facing a trial that could have exposed how his system worked and possibly embarrassed powerful people. Because of this, many believe he was silenced. After his death, many assumed the case would end. Instead, that was when it truly began. Then came the document releases, tens of thousands of pages of court filings, emails, contact lists, and flight records made public over the following years. They exposed how wide Epstein's connections were. Recently, the name Narendra Modi has also appeared in discussions around these Epstein-related files. Is Narendra Modi's name appearing because there is something genuinely significant behind it, or it is being selectively highlighted and politically amplified without context? In the part 2, I'll explain full role of Narendra Modi in Epstein files.